Hey everybody, it's Natalie Alicia Gold, and today I am so happy to have my dear friend, Dr. David Kashan with me. Hey David.
Hi, how are you? How's everything?
You know, we're just living the dream as we were discussing a little bit before.
Thanks
So,
for having me.
oh, thank you. And all you ladies, just so you know, David is single and a very eligible bachelor. So you can
Are you starting already?
me. I'm going to be sorting through the resumes. So David is my near and dear friend. We've been friends for what, David, over 10 years?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think we don't want to say the number; it'll age both of us. So we'll say 10 is a good number.
Exactly. Nice and round. 2020 vision right now. The 2010 vision we put into the world, and you know, Dr. Kashan is a world-renowned plastic surgeon.
Oh. Well, thank you so much again for having me. I'm excited. I can't believe we get to do this. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, you know, if you love it, then you get to come back every week as our medical expert.
Let's do it.
Careful what you wish for, David.
Let's do it.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. You know, look, plastic surgeons are top of the food chain as far as medicine, life, but it's not an easy road to get there.
No, definitely not. And I would say I took kind of like the route that most people took in some sense, but also I would say I'm an anomaly in other senses. Obviously undergrad wise, went to Binghamton. I think that was a great stepping stone. I actually went to the Caribbean initially for med school, and I went to Ross. I graduated from Ross. I have to say, everyone always asks, oh, was it amazing to be in the Caribbean? You know, when you're studying all the time, you don't really get to enjoy the beach as much as everyone else. And then, you know, I think what you do from, and you know this better than anyone, what you do from the beginning until the end, every step changes where you're going to end up. I ended up at SUNY Downstate in Brooklyn. I did my general surgery training over there. I wouldn't trade that for the world. Honestly, one of the greatest experiences of my life. They really learned how to function almost in like with bare minimum. And to me, that was nothing beats that. And then, through kind of like hard work and people, putting in good word for me and everything like that, I ended up at Cleveland Clinic for plastic surgery for my fellowship for 3 years. And that obviously, I mean, the people there are just phenomenal.
That's basically the top program, as I understand it.
I'm gonna say it is. I think a few other programs would argue, but it's definitely an amazing program, and it's run by some phenomenal plastic surgeons. So it really was a great experience.
So David, for you, when you're doing surgery, and tell us about where your focus is. Is it face? Is it body? What is the impetus for you of the tremendous help you're giving that person? Like, what is it that gets you going?
I mean, I think that's a good question. I think you have to tailor everything to every patient. You know, a lot of the time you go in there, you want to have an idea of what you're going to do. But the reality is, what I love about what we do is, and we kind of cover face, body, it's really everything, kind of cosmetic and some breast reconstruction. But even that, you want to give the patient as close to what they're looking for as possible. You just don't want someone to wake up and say, what did you do to me, right? You want everyone to be happy. Obviously, you want everyone to go from A to B as smoothly as possible. And I think a lot of that comes from just, there's nothing better than someone coming in after they've had surgery and saying you changed their life. That's the short answer to that. It really is a phenomenal feeling.
So what you do on the surface is plastic surgery, but what you really do is you infuse people with confidence.
I think that's a huge thing. You know, a lot of people, everyone kind of hears plastic surgery, they automatically assume these people that have, they've either had too much filler, or they've had too much surgery. I think a lot of people don't realize a lot of the time it's something even smaller than that. Some people grew up, for example, I had a patient just a month ago that her nose was something that she got teased about her entire life. and we kind of fixed it up for her. And she was crying in the office. And I thought she was upset, to be honest. I'm like, I really thought it looked nice. She's like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is something I've been bullied about my entire life. And this girl is beautiful. She's a model. She does everything. But her nose was holding her back. And she actually just recently reached out to me. She said, I just got 2 more modeling gigs. I've never felt more confident. I think that's what it's about, right? We're not trying to make people look fake. We're just trying to enhance what bothers them. And fix that.
It's huge. My youngest sister actually just had a nose job about 2 months ago, and I'm banging myself on the head right now about why I didn't. And she always had that insecurity, and I think how I've seen her transform as a human being. She's 18 years old, 19.
Yeah.
It's just miraculous to see. And I always looked at her as beautiful Jessica. It doesn't, but what you see yourself as is truly you could be the most beautiful person. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. But if you don't see it in yourself, there's nothing that someone else can tell you that'll make it better.
Agreed. And I think that's really kind of a huge point, right? It has to be. A lot of the time people say, well, will you just operate on someone that will come in that doesn't need it? And I think that's where the discussion comes in. And you really have to be careful, because if you pick someone that already you don't think you can improve on him, I don't think you should operate on that person. That's kind of the end of it. It has to be someone with realistic goals. That's obvious to you, that you can see that, oh yeah, the nose is off center or it has a hump or whatever it may be. And you have to eliminate your own personal opinion from it. Like for you, you're too close to your sister to make that judgment, right? You always are going to think she's beautiful. But to her, it's probably something she's been thinking about for, since she was a kid, essentially. So
right.
I'm happy to hear that.
So, David, tell me a little bit about your journey here. I mean, 10 plus years just in school after college.
Yeah. So 4 years of med school, then it was 5 years of that general surgery residency, and then 3 years now. And I almost did 1 more year just to do a little extra kind of specializing. And then, a couple of my mentors in Cleveland were like, listen, you don't need to do that. You need to just go out and start working. Some people do more time than I've done. And I think to anyone, I guess if my advice to whoever's going into surgery specifically, I think after a certain point, you're so used to being a student and you're so used to training that you have to kind of cut the umbilical cord at some point and just get out there and start. And I think that's the scariest part for a lot of people, right? Starting up. I have the luxury, as you know, I joined the practice in Great Neck in Manhattan with one of my great friends and mentors, Dr. Tehrani. And to me, that was the best setup, because I knew that I can do everything I want to do, and I still have someone that I could bounce all these ideas off of. And to be honest, I still talk to everyone along the way. I still reach out to the guys in Cleveland, and if there's ever something that comes up or there's a complex case that's going to come up, I talk to them about it too. So you just have to know your limits and kind of just keep moving forward.
I love that you said that, because the educational system we're currently in does not really teach someone. So if you're a college student at 22, if you're a law student at 25, if you're a plastic surgeon at 33, what is next? We have a very clear roadmap of how to get there.
Yeah.
But then once you're there, they're like, good luck, see you later.
You get a little pat on the butt and they say, all right, go ahead, do it.
I'm reading Tillman Fertitta's book, and he goes, life is going to beat you on the ass every so often. So you know what? I love it. So Dave, you're talking a lot about mentorship, and tell me about what that's meant for you in your practice.
To me, it's number one. I think every step of the way, anyone that says they got to somewhere, at least I can speak only to my process, but to get somewhere specifically in surgery without having mentor and guidance, and really, I'm talking about someone that's invested in your learning invested in your technical skills, whether it be inside and outside the OR, someone that you can call even not about medicine, right? Just you're having a really bad day, and there are really bad days. I mean, you may not see it. You see all these shows, everyone always looks like they're happy and stuff like that. But I mean, surgery residency is almost like pledging a fraternity or sorority. I mean, you're sleep deprived a lot of the time. You don't know if you're making the right decision. You're stressed. You need to have a good foundation.
It's kind of like being a mom.
Yeah, exactly. To be honest, I have no idea how some people became moms during residency. I said it to them. I'm like, I am thoroughly impressed that you can take care of a newborn and do this. They are the strongest people by far. It's unbelievable.
To me, what's really amazing, and I don't even want you to comment on this because I don't want this to be a political statement of any sort, but the fact that residency really doesn't give a mommy break is pretty amazing to me.
No, there is. You can, so that now is like the social aspect of surgery. I think that there's this old kind of mentality that if you ask for help or you ask for any type of break or whatever it may be, it's almost like a sign of weakness. And I've watched the evolution of that. I think even before my time, I speak to my father and he talks about when he was training and you didn't leave the hospital, right? No one cared about if you were exhausted. No one cared if you ate. A lot of that has changed. And I think it's just something that just needs to continue to change. It's not the same world it was 20 years ago. There's a lot more you have to do now. Patients are a lot more educated. So everyone's coming in knowing what they want and having printed out huge documents. And, I think everyone has to evolve. And if you don't evolve as a program, you don't evolve as a hospital setting, then you shut down, in my mind. You have to nurture the change. You can't just
grow or die.
Yeah.
So David, for you, I remember very clearly about 10 years ago, you said to me, medicine is not about the money.
Yeah.
If it was about the money, I'd be going a different way.
Yeah.
Medicine is my calling.
Yeah.
Do you still feel that?
Yeah, 100%. I feel the most comfortable in the operating room. I can't tell you what it's like when you walk into there and you have your team. It's a well-oiled machine. It's like NASCAR in there, right? Everyone has their job. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's trying to get to the same end point. And it's amazing. And, you're doing something, you're hoping, again, like I said, you hope you're changing someone's life for the better. Everything about it, just you're on this high. It's what I would imagine it's like for athletes when they go out onto the court. Like it feels so good. You feel like your adrenaline is pumping. And I never get bored in there. Honestly, when we had COVID kind of hit in Cleveland, we slowed down a little bit, and we would have these 2 weeks where they wouldn't let us operate. They made us take like shifts so that if we needed to be redeployed, we would be available to go. And I was losing my mind. That's the truth. You can do everything you want. You can read as much as you want and study, but when you're not in the operating room, it hurts to not be there.
It's beautiful. That's when you know that you're in what the ancients called eudaimonia, what we today call Zen or flow, or it is doing what you're meant to do. I mean, it's when you're describing it, it's what I feel like when I do these shows, when I speak on stages, when I, write my books and have someone affected positively by it. It's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and you do it much better than I do it, but
believe me, if we're in a surgery room, we want you there, David. We do not want me. I'm running and throwing up in the corner. I can't.
Fair enough.
Although I will say that when I go in, and I have 2 beautiful daughters and I've had 2 C-sections. Mm-hmm. And literally my husband will be whatever, we go out. I was out of the hospital in 36 hours flat after my second C-section, sitting up like a champ. So you know what? I'm going to take that little credit of number 1 patient, and I hope it's only for good things.
I'm sure you were writing a book during the C-section, let's be honest.
Come on. I wrote the intro for Money Mama, but
Wow. It really is impressive. And if we're gonna brag on people about 10 years ago, I remember you were talking about exactly this, and you rattled off a list, and I'm like, who is this 21-year-old thinking she's gonna have her own law firm, she's gonna write 3 books, she's gonna do all that, and every step of the way you've impressed and done it like in spades. So I'm in awe.
Well, you know what? We're going to keep this going, David. And the fact is, what's so beautiful is truly, to me, the biggest lesson. It's 5 words: surround yourself with good people.
Great.
And our friendship is a testament. I mean, and we didn't even know each other in college. We got connected because 2 of our friends were dating. But the fact is, when you stick around with great people, it's amazing. It's exponential. Grant Cardone talks a lot about 10x.
Yeah.
It's 100x.
Yeah.
Because your network finds you.
To give my mom some credit here, she always said in high school, you know, your friends are a reflection of who you are. And if they don't, and I know it sounds weird, but if they don't benefit you, then there's no point in being friends with them. And it's not to say benefit monetarily, benefit from, are they educated? Are they making you a better person in some format? And I think that's what you're saying, at least in my mind, I think that's an important thing. If you're not around those people and they're not kind of striving for the same goal and trying to be successful, I think it really brings you down.
For sure, because we match our surroundings. Everyone wants to be liked. We have this innate human capacity to echo. And, you know, if you're the smartest person in the room, find a new room.
Yeah, exactly. I always want to be the dumbest person in the room. How about that? I think I'm succeeding, but I think that's a good way of looking at it. I think you always want everyone else to be smarter than you. I agree with that.
I love that, because when you say you want to be the dumbest person in the room, typically that's the smartest person. So good for you, my friend, which we all already knew. So David, if you could tell us, you know, your 21-year-old self, the student who now might be hearing this, what is the one biggest piece of advice that you would give to someone who's looking to take the path that you have taken?
I think, and this is some great advice I received, I think you have to realize if you're going to go into medicine, you have to get out that romanticized view that you're going to be, you know, 2 years done and you're going to be making millions of dollars and you're going to be driving a Ferrari and whatever, all the fun tchotchkes that go around with it. And I think that's the hardest part for people that I've noticed. When people got in, it was culture shock. Why am I still not making money 4 years in? Why am I being treated like an intern still? And I've been doing this for 5 years. I think you have to be humble when you step into it, and you have to be humble throughout it, because like you said, I mean, you know, if you go into it for the money, it's a huge mistake. You will be very, very miserable. There's plenty of other jobs that you can do, and you can do quicker, get into quicker, and make money, and more money for that matter. But I think that's one of the main things to me. You have to go in for the right reason. If you're just doing it because you didn't know what to do and you were lost, that's a bad idea.
So friends, I think we have it here that Dr. Kashan is in the house, in his element when he's in the operating room, making people infused with confidence and bringing out the beauty that has always been there. And truly someone who is an amazing friend and an amazing person to learn from of what it's like to do it. He's not going to give you a romanticized version and going to keep it real with you always. So anyone is looking for an amazing plastic surgeon, an amazing person to work with, Dr. Kashan is the man of the house. So you'll all get his contact info. And David, thank you so much for being here with me today. It's been a true pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.